tuned into Breaking the Mask of Depression with your host, Diva with Depression.
Hi everybody, it's me, the Diva with Depression, and I'm coming to you live from the living room. How are you guys? I am happy to be back. I took an unexpected vacation, if you want to call it, a couple of days off. There's been so much going on personally, and my mental health is still in the toilet. So sometimes I just can't, and I spend a lot of time feeling bad about that. But then I have to stop and say, well, I tell you guys to take a break. I tell you guys that it's okay to not have, all the spoons all the time. So I guess I have to give myself grace. Not that that's going to happen, but hey. So welcome to Breaking the Mask of Depression again. And I hope everyone is doing well. I mean, the chaos. And that's what I'm going to talk to you about today. But I wanted to share that I have done a couple of things in the past month or so, maybe more, that took me out of my comfort zone. One of them is that I went to a conference. Another one, I went to another podcast conference. And I met new people. I socialized. I interacted. I scared the shit out of myself. And, it's okay that a lot of us are introverts. It's okay that a lot of us, spend a lot of time to ourselves. But it's also refreshing when we get a chance to change our view. When we get a chance to get outside and see the sunlight, see other people. If you're like me, I don't work, so I am home a lot, especially in the evenings. So I just wanted to share that with you guys, that I have been taking some steps forward the past couple of months, even though my mental health is in the toilet. And I hope that inspires you to maybe do one thing a week, one thing a month. It's up to you how much. But just know that it can make you feel a little bit better. So, I have a family member that contacted me, and they are up in arms, super anxious, super overwhelmed with the election coverage. And they are the type of person that gets very excited about the whole process, especially, listening to the different news channels and as the precincts report and, the different things like that. They said that that's like their thing. But because everything is so chaotic, this election season, they're just losing it. Excuse me. And, I don't blame them. I am not one to get involved. I know how I am going to proceed, and I may have discussions with close friends or family members, but I do not get into politics, on social media or, writing about it. But I will say that this year, it's pretty scary. And it's scary safety-wise, number one. I just saw a video today about a man that attacked some poll workers. And that's pretty scary. Because a lot of people are scared to go to the polls because they think that, they're in danger. And I will say that, listen, folks have been acting up, and especially when it comes to our black and brown people. So we really, really do have to stay aware, stay alert. Now, with that being said, we still have to protect ourselves mentally. You know, you're either with one or with the other, you know, and you sort of have to figure out why you're having such anxiety. And part of the thing is that, listen, the uncertainty contributes to the anxiety. We don't know where our lives are going to be November 6th. We don't know what position we'll be in November 6th. And so it's scary. And I was reading an article on Vox yesterday that said that 69% of American adults said that this presidential election was a significant source of stress in their lives. And that was a poll that the American Psychological Association did. And so, 69%, that means that we're all fucking out of our minds right now. And listen, to be fair, when you start to get anxious, when you start to get overwhelmed, we can't even lie and say that we don't get violent or moody. That's just who we are as human beings. But it's when you start lashing out at other people for no reason or to further your cause, that's when it gets to be out of control. And the uncertainty is not anybody else's fault. You don't know walking down the street how someone voted. Why would you attack them just because of their skin color, their sex? You just don't know. So political anxiety is high. And political anxiety is high this year. It's impacting people that, like me, who aren't usually too freaked out about some of the things that go on in politics. Because listen, politics are going to politic. Politicians are going to politician. They all lie as far as I'm concerned. It's all, I'm not going to say it's a game, but that life is that life. And so I try not to get any more caught up in those shenanigans than I do with celebrity shenanigans, So my everyday anxiety is enough. I freak out about, going to the grocery store or what the doctor's going to say. Or listen, my freaking a new medication that I was finally able to get sold out across the world. So those are the things that get my anxiety up. But here we are. Listen to this term, election-based distress. Wow. It says election-based distress isn't necessarily based on hypotheticals or overreactions. A lot of the concerns are very real and very valid based on people's real lives and lived experiences. And so that makes sense because we got a lot going on. Besides the election, we have inflation. We have domestic violence, which it is Domestic Violence Awareness Month. We've got daylight savings time that's just getting ready to change again. So that means that it's going to be getting dark at the crack of dawn. We have, listen, I ordered groceries yesterday and I think I spent $60 and I can't even tell you what I got. But I know that it wasn't anything substantial, And it's scary, because people that are on limited incomes, like myself, senior citizens, sick, disabled, it's hard to make your money stretch. And it's really, that is overwhelming. Like, that's anxiety driven. And, I am one person, but I'm also a cooker and a baker. I'm a cook and a baker, I'm sorry. And so, those expenses add to my grocery bill. Don't even talk about eating out. Oh my goodness gracious. And I understand, like, restaurants have to raise their prices because the price of ingredients have gone up. I think it's now to get 2 1-pound packs of butter is like $7 or $8. Well, if you are in the baking business like me, what are you going to do? Like, you really have to raise your rates. So I get that the restaurants are starting to raise their prices. But once you start adding up these delivery fees and stocking fees and whatever else, DoorDash and Uber and Instacart starts to add, it's too much. And if you're cheap like me, you put the stuff in the cart, and then once you get the total, you're like, you know what? I'm not in the mood for that anyway. I'll eat a peanut butter and jelly sandwich. Thank goodness I like peanut butter and jelly sandwiches, because there are some days where, that's what we're going to do. We're going to eat a peanut butter and jelly sandwich and make it work. I grew up that way. We were poor, so there are some days that you didn't know what you were going to eat, and a slice of toast or whatever, that's what you was going to do. So, I'm not opposed to having a good peanut butter and jelly sandwiches. So, I understand, but I want us together to try to come up with a way or ways to sort of curb the anxiety. And it's not realistic to tell somebody to get off social media, especially if you're a creator, influencer. Just about anything nowadays includes some form of social media, some sort of digital media. So saying get off of social media, okay. And I cannot tell you how many conversations I have like that. It's hard, especially for people that are definite introverts and who don't get out every day. That is their connection to the world. Signing on to the Facebook sometimes or Twitter is the only social interaction I get some days, So I'm not going to say turn off social media. I'm not going to say turn off the TV, because that's my background noise and that's my light at night. So I will say that maybe we can, as I've said over and over again, and I had the podcast episode with someone that talks about mindful journalism. So maybe turn off the news, or don't watch the news, don't buy the news. Maybe go into your news apps and reduce the notifications or turn them off altogether, so you're in control of what you see and when you see it. I'm not a hobby. That's what somebody has listed here in this article. And listen, if you don't have a hobby, or you haven't had a hobby that you've been actively pursuing all these years, I don't know if you're going to go out and get one tomorrow. But something like coloring or journaling, those are things that you can do off the cuff without a lot of input. It's not major crafting. So you can do that. How about don't listen to the political riffraff. And now that is easy to do. Like when I see some of these commercials coming on, I turn it down. I turn it down. Or I change the channel and then change it back, once that commercial is off. I don't listen to the debates and, watch these discussions on TV or listen to the political podcast stuff, because I just don't, because it would drive me crazy. So, maybe turn it down a bit. Use, I want to say NPR is a good news website. Now, I personally, Twitter gives me my sound bites and my little news pieces, but the shit that's going on over there can be exhausting. So, I'm not going to say that Twitter is the best thing, but yeah, just find something different to do. If you used to watch the 6 o'clock news, maybe make yourself a cup of tea and go through your mail at 6 o'clock. And if you have too many bills, then make yourself a cup of coffee and write for 15 minutes and see where that gets you, or go on demand and watch something funny. I am not a comedic movie and show person. I like my dramas and my legal and medical dramas, but I do watch Abbott Elementary, and on Hulu, Only Murders in the Building with Steve Martin and Martin Short and Selena Gomez. Listen, Steve Martin and Martin Short, two of my favorite people in the whole world, and they are hilarious. So that's what I do. I try to find, something to pass the time, rather than watching the news or thinking about the world, because y'all, we gotta live. Like November 6th, we're gonna have to we still have to survive. So don't save your energy. That's what I'm trying to say. Save your energy, because we got things to do, places to go. Now, I mentioned daylight savings time. I think that it should be abandoned across the board, but who am I? So, November 3rd ends daylight savings time, which means that we gain an hour. Yay! Woo! But it also gets dark early. Boo, boo. Especially if you're the person that likes to run after work, or, sit outside. It's going to be dark early. And that means that in some places it's going to start getting colder, and we're going to get into our seasonal affective disorder, our winter portion of seasonal affective disorder. And, I have an article that I'm writing about coming out of winter depression, and I'll let you guys know when it's printed. But we start to lose, when we're not actively doing things outside or sitting in the sun, we are losing our vitamin D. And for Black and brown people, that's a problem anyway. I don't know. Everybody I've talked to seems to be deficient in vitamin D. So I don't know if it's really that we're not getting enough sun, or we're not eating our spinach. I don't know, guys, but I know that vitamin D is important, and we suck at getting it. So up your vitamin D intake. That should help a little. Iron levels keep us down also. That's something that a lot of women deal with, being iron deficient. So being sad, seasonal affective disorder, affects many people in different ways and at different times. And some people will start feeling it as soon as daylight saving time ends. because of the getting dark early. Some people like me, it won't start kicking in until the holidays, which actually tomorrow, once November 1st hits, it's Christmas according to everybody. So I start to feel it then because of various reasons. So pay attention to your body and pay attention to when you feel it coming on. And then take the steps to find a way to cope with it. I've talked about the daylight lamps that you can get that will, shine just like you're outside. And there are different levels to it. So you have buttons to make it light or bright or turn it up, turn it down. I also have a plant light for my plants, and that sort of helps me also, especially when I'm sitting near them and that lamp is on. I feel a little bit better. I am not one to have all of the curtains and blinds open in the house because of PTSD. I'm scared of people looking in. So I don't do that everywhere in my house. So I do keep lamps everywhere. And I have the daylight lamp and I have the plant light, and that helps me. So you just have to get creative about how we're going to make it through the seasons, whichever season you struggle with. And listen, don't feel bad because it could start from November 3rd and go on until May, because maybe you feel bad in the winter, in the spring, because it's raining, and the bugs start to come. Ugh, the damn bugs. Listen, kill them all. Kill them all. But just pay attention to your seasons, and maybe starting this year, you can pay attention to when it starts and go on Pinterest or Google and find ways to combat it. Some entertaining things to do during that time so you won't feel so stuck and sad and miserable. I would say, and y'all know that me drink coffee all day, but that doesn't help either. So, and trust me, I tried. So, let's just find a way for us to work it out, and we got to work together because no man is an island. You know what I'm saying? Like, we need each other. We need our friends and family. We need somebody to text. We need somebody to send our memes to. We need somebody to meet for coffee. I mean, we need each other. And even if it's just one or two people in your circle, take advantage of that, because I can guarantee you that at least one of your friends or family members is going through something similar to you, or they're going through something, because everybody's going through something. That is one of the things that I share with one of my sisters, is that she understands because she gets those dark periods too. And so I can send her a meme. She can send me a meme, and I can tell her how I really feel, and she can tell me how she really feels, and we work it out. So please just find somebody that cares, somebody that doesn't mind helping you get out of your dark spaces. I'm not saying abuse people and treat them like your free therapist. Don't do that. Please don't do that. But, just find somebody to take a walk with, or, talk to on the phone. And that should help with the seasonal affective disorder. And of course, if you feel that it's bad, it's extreme, then most definitely go and speak to a doctor. The same thing with the anxiety with the election and just with the world in general. If you feel that your anxiety is stopping you from functioning, from handling your day-to-day responsibilities, then please speak to your doctor. And don't feel bad about needing some anxiety medicine or ADD medicine. I know that there are some people that are anti-meds, but if that's what helps you, then you go for it. You know what I'm saying? Because listen, those people that are judging you or telling you what to do, whatever, they're not here with you all day, every day, helping you function. So you do what's best for you. And what's best for you is to take care of yourself. And if you can't take care of yourself, then get medical help. So I am going to keep you guys updated on my article about coming out of seasonal affective disorder. I also am trying to get some men folk to come on next month and talk to us about a variety of things, because there seems to be a major divide between black women and black men right about now. So I want to have some brothers come on and, vibe with me, talking about mental health and just talking about some health related issues and how that contributes to your mental health and stuff like that. So stay tuned for that. I am going to make sure that I keep posting on my social media pages and on my website. Of course, the resources are still there, but I'm going to post information again on how to deal with seasonal affective disorder, how to prepare yourself for the upcoming holiday season, which can be exhausting. Whether it's money, which most of us don't have right now because, like I said, inflation. And so if you don't have money for the holidays, sometimes that brings you down, especially if you have children, young children, that, are ready for Christmas and get excited, and you just don't have it. And any time that I find something, community involvement or, free stuff, free giveaways or free, activities in the community where you can maybe get toys or something if you don't have it for your children, then I definitely always post those things on my social media. So divawithdepression.com is where you find everything. Breaking the Mask of Depression, my podcast, is everywhere. And my social media pages, everything is Diva with Depression. I will tell you that Twitter and Instagram are my go-tos for social media. So I will definitely always post in those two places to share resources with you. But in the meantime, I want you guys to have a good week. I want you to stay safe. And you probably won't hear my voice until after Election Day. So if you need to reach out to me, if you need to learn how to contact someone to help you with your anxiety, depression, or anything, please, please, please feel free to reach out to me. You can message me anywhere and contact me on my website, and I will get the information to you. Guys, please, please, please take a moment to find your peace. I thank you for sticking with me. I'm grateful that you listen and support me, and we are going to do whatever we can to close out this year with a bang, and a healthy bang or a semi-healthy bang, we're going to do what we can do, okay? Take care, guys, and find some peace and enjoy yourself. Bye.
Sometimes realize that